Based sponsor on the channel, teamwallart.com. The link is in the description. Worldwide shipping, and it's unbelievable, guys. As I've told you before, this is the sort of stuff that you can get from these guys. My favourites on the end here. Accused of everything, guilty of nothing since 1919. You can get this one for $5.99 if you buy another one for $7.99. And I did that. I've got the one of Marcelo Bielsa here. A beautiful image. Really good quality as well, by the way. And of course, the title winning boys. Some really good stuff on there, guys. As I said, the link is in the description. I went to these guys. I love this sort of stuff. And they are Leeds United fans. Go check it out. Enjoy the video. One Leeds is now sponsored by One Football. One Football is a really classy app. You can get all of your Leeds United updates on this app. You can get all the transfer news, injury news, match day news, and it really is top quality. The most downloaded app regarding football on the site. So make sure you go check it out. The link is in the description, and I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Hello everybody, I hope you're doing fantastically well. We are back here with your opposition preview. It's really weird doing that intro, as I always do at the start of every video, when you've got someone in the background because you're conscious of the time and just leaving them behind. But we have Kendall, Rowan with us today, a Newcastle fan, and I'm going to get Kendall in with me now. Kendall, how are you doing? So, literally, when I was playing that intro, I was like, she's just going to be behind there just waiting.
It's all right. Don't worry. But it wasn't even that long. It was only a minute or so anyway.
Well, Kendall, the good thing is I had a big sort of 2-minute Newcastle Leeds the last time out, and that's preloaded on the system. I thought, I can't put her through that.
Please don't. I'm already depressed enough watching that. I kind of honestly, that would have just been the cherry on the cake.
Cherry on the cake. Yeah. So how are you doing anyway, Kendall? It's a weird time, isn't it? Obviously, you're a Newcastle YouTuber, and it's. I mean, how do you describe Newcastle? I'll let you take the ground on Newcastle United at this moment in time.
It's just dead. That's how I can explain it. It's just dying a death at the moment, and obviously, if things don't change anytime soon. As we all know, the league this year is just so close, and anything can possibly happen. And I really wouldn't be surprised with the next one of fixtures we have, and the way that we're playing. I would not be surprised if we're in the relegation zone come 3-4 games time, because I think we're 7 points clear now. So obviously that's that 2 wins and 2 draws. If anyone below us gets that, 3 wins if they get that, then we're dragged down there because I can't see where the next point we're going to pick up is from. So I'm hating this season at the moment, absolutely hating it.
Yeah, I saw your I saw one sort of review you did. I think it was on the Magpie channel, another Newcastle channel, where you're on quite frequently, aren't you? And it was from an opposition fan. It's quite an interesting watch. I'm not going to say it's not funny, but it is. It's because you do that. It's opposition clubs, isn't it? When you see opposition clubs in meltdown, you think, all right, well, we're not there right yet.
You just banter them, and like I can take it. I'm fine. I know that people are obviously laughing at us at the moment, but I think half the time, what's worse is it's like pity. They're like, oh my God, I feel so sorry for Newcastle fans. And I'm like, please, I can't. That's worse. I'd rather you laugh.
Well, the thing is, a lot of Villa fans as well, they were saying, well, we know what it's like for Newcastle fans, bad ownership. We went, obviously you played Villa last night. We went into the Championship for 3 years. I was like, if you're Leeds United, we were in League One, 16 years. So it's like I think we've got similar levels of terms of bad ownership, which we've had over the years. I mean, is it Newcastle have been shockingly ran now for the best part of 10, 12 years. And I mean, is there a way out at some point, Kendall? Because we know what a magnificent club Newcastle are. And it just seems like if it's Rafa, then it's Bruce, then it's going to be someone else who comes in. But it's the whole Mike Ashley thing, isn't it? It's never ending.
Yeah, I think that's why when obviously last summer when the whole takeover dropped through, because it was like the first time, because we've had like takeover rumours every Christmas for I can't even tell you how long, and they never ever come off. And obviously this time last year it happened again in about March time, and then it sort of bankrolled a little bit further, and it got the furthest that we ever had gotten with a takeover. So when that fell through, we were absolutely devastated. Like, I think that was just the start of like this whole disengagement with a lot of the fans, because we were expecting this takeover and we were going to get rid of Mike Ashley, and you know, it was going to be all happy go lucky every time, like the next season, and it hasn't worked out like that. So the only way that we can progress, I think, as a club, because as we know, as you said, now, I mean, Mike Ashley took over in 2006, so for the most of that time, it's been run horribly, and there's been not much investment in the club, and you know, we're just happy to get to 40 points, stay safe. It doesn't matter if we come 17th every year. He's happy to stay safe and just avoid relegation. And that's not really what we should be. No. You know, with the stadium we've got, the fan base we've got, a club like Newcastle shouldn't be there. I'm not saying we should be like Europa League or Champions League every year. That's not it. I just want to be someone who, you know, a club who progresses every year rather than stays stagnant and just is happy with safety. So I think obviously the only way we're ever going to do that is to get rid of Mike Ashley, but that's not the easiest thing in the world, as we've obviously already found out. So
yeah, I think there's a lot of love from Leeds fans as well for Newcastle as well. I think we're sort of similar clubs in that vein. Ran badly. I actually like Newcastle. They should be in the Premier League, and I think that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all about hope. As a football club, you want hope. You want, you know, every single season. It's not just about staying up and scraping your way through, is it, Kendall? I think with Newcastle, it's been far too long in that vein.
Yeah, like every year we just, I mean, the past 3 seasons, and that's obviously including Rafa Benitez as well, who we all loved, but we've had 44 points, 45 points, 44 points the last 3 seasons. Like, that's no progression whatsoever. Like, surely if you're, you know, like obviously if you're Steve Bruce, you spent 100 million on signings since you've been here in 18 months, and surely you're looking to, that's for progression. You're not, you know, going spending 100 million for no reason. Like, that's stupidity. But that's obviously what it's coming up to now, because we haven't progressed at all, and that's, we don't want that. No club wants to just either go down or be stagnant if you've got the, like, you know, the facilities to progress as a club. And yes, it does take time. Anyone knows that. Obviously, you guys know yourselves, it's 16 years without being in the Premier League. It takes time, and it comes eventually, but you just can't, in this day and age of football, when it is so money orientated and so business orientated, you've got to be pushing to progress as a club, you know, to move on.
So what, with regards to, obviously you played Villa last night. I mean, I watched it. It wasn't, I've seen Newcastle a lot worse. So did you sort of see any improvements at all, Kendall, last night, or was it is it still sort of no effort, no endeavour, no nothing?
I truly cannot. The players just aren't playing anymore. For, I don't know whether it's for the manager, for the club. I really just don't know, because there's players like Fabian Schär, for example, who under Rafa Benitez was so vital to that team. Like, he had there was a really, I don't know how much it was, but there was a big bid from like Inter Milan and Barcelona at the time when we had him, and we thought we were going to lose him, and now he's like, obviously the first goal last night was his fault, and Caldalo didn't help. Like, there's players who just aren't playing anymore. Their heads are down. I don't know if you saw obviously the end of the game, but like Jamal,
that was weird at the end of the game.
In tears. Like, he was practically in tears. Jamal Lascelles was head in his hands. Like, some of the players were on their knees.
Kendall, what was that about?
That's what I mean. Like, I just genuinely, it's just gone. The football, the love, the passion, everything's just gone. And obviously they know that this is now like dog eat dog now, because obviously there's going to be problems if this continues and we keep getting beat, because the last 10 games on average, it's looking as we projected to get beat 2-0 or 2-1 every single game, which that, you know, that's really not ideal when you're so close to the drop zone at this point. And people might think 7 points isn't close, but as I've said, 3 wins for the team below, 3 wins, 2 draws, like that's, and for us, our next 4 fixtures are tough, and I don't think we're probably going to even really get a point from them. So, it's all weird. The players just aren't playing. The manager's coming out with random comments in his you know, post-match interview, saying that he's encouraged with what he saw. I thought, oh my days, encouraged died to go on blooming relegation. That's what you're encouraged about.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, just in general with Newcastle. Like, obviously this season it's been magnified, but over the past 10 years it's a sad story. But with regards to people I mean, you have players that have come back. I mean, in the Leeds game, I don't think Shelby featured. Carroll didn't feature. Saint Maximin obviously wasn't part of it. I think Almiron as well didn't really feature. Is that sort of positives for Newcastle right now? The fact that you're getting sort of these players back.
Yes, it is. But then I think we're all kind of on the terms of like being realistic now, and like probably not much is going to change because so much of the team needs changing, and the system that needs implementing better, like a more attacking minded system. I mean, look, we don't have to be attacking, that's fine, but we're playing defensive football and can't defend. So like, you know what I mean? Like, so what you're going to do if you can't attack and you can't defend, you're in limbo. Like, you know what I mean? It's really, really, it's a struggle at the moment. But it is obviously positive that Saint Maximin's back because he is something of, probably the most creative player in our team. And we've been without him now for like 7 weeks, possibly 9 weeks actually now at this point. So that's like a good thing. But when he doesn't have the players around him, what is he supposed to do? Like, I feel sorry for him, and I feel sorry for Callum Wilson as well because he's so isolated the way that we play right now. He's just not getting any service, and he's not a type of player to like track back, and that's what we kind of need him to do that at this point because we're not, we're not directing balls into the box for him or anything like that. And he was like the bright spark when we signed him at the beginning of the season, and we thought, oh, we've got like a really decent striker here. But there's no positivity around it when you don't have any service to give your good striker. So it's just a bit of a nightmare at the moment.
So I was going to say, if you have a scenario where you've sort of got Fraser starting, Wilson and Saint Maximin, is that sort of your ideal outcome, really?
Yeah, what I would like to see is a 4-2-3-1. And attacking-wise, I would like to see Fraser, Almiron in the middle, Saint Maximin, and then Wilson in front. That's what I would personally like to see. Whether or not he'll do that, because I mean he's had points in the past where he said in his interview yesterday that he's never been able to do that because players haven't been fit at the same time, but actually there's been instances where there has been Fraser and Maximin fit and he's played one or the other, or one's come off for the other one, if you know what I mean. So he has had the opportunity to do that and he just hasn't done it, because he'd rather just for some reason play like Joe Linton there or
Kendall, a bizarre substitution I keep seeing him do, and I don't know if he did it at Ellen Road. No, I don't think he did because Carroll didn't come on, but hasn't he started substituting Murphy for Carroll and vice versa?
Yeah, which is bizarre because they don't even remotely play like anywhere near. Murphy's either like a winger or most of the time he's been playing right wing back for us, and then replacing Carroll for. I'm thinking, well, why? Because like if Shelby's not playing, there's no point in playing Carroll because the tactic is that you're gonna like pump a long ball up into the box for Carroll. That's what Shelby does. And then if Shelby's not playing, Carroll doesn't get anywhere because like he's not a goal poacher. Do you know what I mean? He's not always in the right place at the right time. And if Carroll doesn't play and Shelby's playing, like there's just absolutely no point because we have no aerial threat up front, whatsoever. So it's like these bizarre substitutions, absolutely just strange decision making. Like yesterday, we had 4 wingers on the bench, and then like he had like Hendrick and Hendrick and Almiron when we had like 4 wingers on the bench.
He loves Hendrick, doesn't he?
Loves Hendrick. Why? Why does he love Jeff Hendrick? Like honestly, I think we're all sat there every time we see the team sheet, we're like.
He might have something. He might have something on him.
Really? Well, that's what we used to say about Joe Linton, but he's dropped in the past 2 games, so I don't know. Maybe he's getting away with it at the moment.
So, what is there a bit of with what's going on now with Leeds, for example? Are you is there a bit of sort of envy in from Newcastle fans at this moment in time? Because obviously we saw what happened at Ellen Road, but there just seems to be a real identity with Leeds. I know we spoke about it on the Everton fan channel as well. There seems to be a bit of an identity, a bit of a way of playing. They all respect the manager. And we haven't got really, apart from Rafinha and Rodrigo, any superstars, but they're all just a unit.
Like, I think the thing is, like, I'm envious about is they have an identity, they have a system, they know what they're doing. Yes, Leeds, they can concede a few goals. Like, it's either, they either concede 3 or score 3. It just depends. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. But in that way, when you see the players playing for the manager and they want to impress the manager and they are sticking their feet in and actually playing the game, regardless of what happens. You never really see, well, obviously I don't watch Leeds constantly, but I've never really seen Leeds players with like their heads down. Like even if they have conceded a few goals, they know that they can probably bring that back. And they still continue to play, and they have like desire and they drive forward, and I love that about them, and that's what I'm jealous about, because like we don't have that at all. Like we hardly ever look like we like attacking at all, unless it's a fluke chance. I mean, we take a throw in and it goes back to our keeper straight away. It's actually embarrassing, and I'm so envious that a team like Leeds, where we've obviously had Premier League safety now for 3-4 years, 4 seasons now, and a team like Leeds who's just come up. I mean, even Fulham to an extent, who have just come up, play more cohesive, direct football than us, and that's what stresses me out, because I'm like, why? We should be there. Like we should be the ones where they've come up, they got promoted straight away after they got relegated. Like we should have kicked on from that point and actually tried to do something, and we haven't. We've gone backwards, which is just so frustrating to me when you see, obviously, like you guys and other teams around us playing just far, far better football, and the manager's got them playing just loads better.
What did you think about it last time? Obviously, it was I'll be honest, Kendall. I think we said this on the other channel as well, but I think Newcastle were the poorest side to come to Ellen Road. But I mean, we conceded 2, and it was 3-2 really. And so I think it was like the 80th minute. Then we broke away, but Newcastle was sort of coming forward a little bit. And at that point, I was like, "What is going on?" Because I felt like we sort of dominated the game, and at one point it was somehow 3-2.
Like as you say, up until really late on in the game, it wasn't too bad. And we always keep saying, like, Steve Bruce goes out. He just goes out not to get beat. He's not bothered about, if it's a draw, even if it's a 1-0 defeat, he kind of sees it as like, oh, that's good in his eyes. Like, he never goes out to win a game. And obviously knowing what an attacking side Leeds were at that point. And we went and played them, and it was 3-2. I thought, that's not too bad, like we scored 2 goals. For us to score 2 goals is like, whoa, to be fair. So we were buzzing over that, and then obviously the last 10 minutes or so was just atrocious, and that's when we got complacent. We came forward a little bit, and the back line was just so disorganised. You were just attacking incessantly, like we just couldn't handle it. Probably I would say a few other teams would say that we're equally the worst side that they faced this season. I wouldn't be surprised, because I genuinely think there's not really, if anyone plays worse football than us in the league. I'm so surprised. I can't remember who it was, but a pundit said the other day, like, they cannot believe that we've actually got 19 points. Like, they genuinely can't believe that, where we've pulled that from. Because the way we play is just so, it's so deep. There's just no creativity there at all. And I wouldn't even care losing, like, games if we played like yous, because at least the players I've desired, they haven't gone out to lose, if you know what I mean. They've gone out to win, and it just hasn't worked, and the defense hasn't worked or whatever, and you haven't put your chances away, and I would be fine with that. Like, we were 0-0 against Liverpool, and that was like, I've never seen us so happy in my life. I've never honestly, we were buzzing with a 0-0 at Liverpool. That's how bad it is now, because we were like, oh my god, we've held them, we've kept a clean sheet, can't believe it, because that's just unusual. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just. Do
you think it's? We've got a comment here, and I think this is how I'm sort of thinking about it. Because with Brighton, I think they'd won 1 game in 9. I think they'd won 2 in 15 or something like that. And Paul Gray just says, hate these games. Newcastle's bang out of form, much like Brighton were. Leeds always struggle against out of form sides, and he's sort of bang on. If there's ever sort of a coupon that Leeds will give, it is to the out of form sides. I mean, from a Newcastle perspective, I know it's difficult because, we beat you not so long ago, but would you prefer to play Leeds now? We've sort of lost 3 on the bounce. There might be a bit of a confidence issue. Would Leeds be the game that you would pick to play now, or is it, because you'd have probably said Sheffield United, wouldn't you?
Then look at them, we Charity FC and them 3 points. You know what I mean? God, honestly, it's like, yes, but at the same time, it kind of works either way. So when you guys are out of form, you're looking for a point to pick up and like kick back on again, and that's probably when you don't want to play teams when they have got something to prove and they're trying to come back. So I think it's like sod's law. Like you go against teams, you always do well against the big teams and not well against the teams that you need to do well against, like that are around you. And it was same for us a lot of the time. I mean, look, we've beat Everton beat Everton this season, drew with Wolves, drew with Liverpool, and it's like mental because they're teams that we cannot compete with at this point. Yet we're getting, we're getting close wins at West Brom, we're drawn with Fulham, we're getting beat off Leeds and getting beat off Sheffield, and they're the teams that we need to, and obviously you'll feel the same, that you need to, obviously not as low down as us or anything, but you need to win against those teams, and it's always a funny one, but I really just truly, we don't have enough. After seeing that last night, the end of the game last night, and the way the players were, and how their heads were down, and they were just, like, as I said, Jamal Lewis was practically crying at one point. I just think that we just don't have enough to, no matter what, even if you are out of form, I don't think we have enough to counteract that at all.
Yeah, I mean, who do you think the pressure's on? Obviously, because I guess with us, we've lost 3 on the bounce, including, Crawley, which was that was so embarrassing. They battered us as well. So yeah, we lost to Crawley. I know Newcastle I don't know the last time you won a game, Kendall, to be honest. But
no.
Is the pressure more on Newcastle now, or how do you see it in that respect? Could Bruce get sacked if he loses this game? What do you reckon?
Well, everyone's kind of saying, because we've got Crystal Palace after. No, I feel maybe Crystal Palace after you. But I think someone has said that. Well, a lot of people have said that they don't think that's going to happen until the Palace game, if he loses the Palace game.
Right.
But right now, obviously, I don't think Rafa's ever going to come back under Mike Ashley. That's just my opinion. I just don't think he ever will. But Steve Bruce must be thinking to himself, oh God, like, he's left his position in China. I'm really struggling now because we haven't won in 9 games. But he's struggling now. So the pressure's on him in general and us, because we don't want to obviously get dragged further into the relegation zone. I don't think the pressure lies with you guys at all, because realistically, it's a game you should win. And yes, that's sort of pressure in the sense that people are going to be expecting you to win. But if you don't win this game, it's not really detrimental to you guys at all, because it's just, it's just one game that you can push aside. You're not going to be sort of anywhere near relegation or anything like that. It's not sending you out of Europa League or anything like that. You just sort of in the middle at this point. So I don't think it'll be detrimental to you guys, apart from obviously the form that you're on at the moment. As you say, you've lost the past 3, so or you haven't won in 3. So yeah, I think that's the only pressure you guys have got in the terms of the expectation. But yeah, pressure's with us 100%.
And if you were to beat Leeds, I mean, we saw last time with the set piece goal. If you were to beat the team, Kendall, obviously we know that you'd have started sort of with a 4-2-3-1. Yeah. I mean, would you be including people like Andy Carroll in this game, or you know what I mean, players who can whip it into him, or would you just sort of go for that lineup you just said at the start?
Well, if I went with a 4-2-3-1, I don't think I'd really even be including Shelby in that. So then I don't see the point in Carroll playing, because we don't have really a player who can work with Carroll in that sense. So obviously, as I said, Wilson, Maximin, Almiron, Fraser is like the 3-1 at the front. Then the 2 I would have Hayden and Matty Longstaff.
Kendall, it's not a bad team, is it? Like, it's a good team.
We shouldn't be where we are. Like, really, that's the problem. And obviously, that all comes back to the system. Hayden and Matty Longstaff, I feel like Matty Longstaff and Shelby are probably interchangeable there. Well, and then obviously back 4, I'd personally have Mankiyo at right back, Jamal Lewis at left back. But if we're playing a flat back 4, I've said before, I don't really think he's decent enough there. But Paul Dummett's injured again. Look, we never had good left backs, God, honestly. I was trying to do an all-time Newcastle 11 the other day, and I was thinking, I don't even remember the last good left back we had. It was stuck with Paul Dummett for like 10 years. So obviously it would have to be Jamal Lewis unless Matt Ritchie slotted in there. But really, as a left back, I'd rather have him as a wing back. And then I would have Fernandez and Clark in the centre, but Fernandez and Clark are both currently injured. So that means it's probably going to be Shah and Lascelles again, who them 2 together I hate. I absolutely hate that centre-back partnership. I hate it. It's so disorganised, because Shah would rather play like CDM. And then that, obviously, because our midfield is so rubbish, it just leaves a massive gap between the defence and the attack. And then when you have a centre back who's trying to play blooming CDM, it's like, we need you, like we really need you back here. And then I would personally have Dubravka back in, because obviously Dalot had a little bit of a tough game yesterday, and the first goal he didn't do well enough in my opinion. So I would maybe stick Dubravka back in, because I trust him a little bit more.
And how do you see it going then, the game? Obviously, I won't ask you for a score prediction, but I guess, how do you see that? I mean, to be honest, Kendall, I sort of see us bouncing back. I think if the thing is, if Bruce sort of played I don't know if you guys have ever played a 3-4-3, but we seem to really struggle against 3-4-3s in the Premier League. So when there's pressure on our wingers and there's three at the back, so you force Leeds out wide, we cross the balls in, and then you've just got big centre backs who knock it away. Yeah. Frustrate Leeds, then hitters with the likes of Wilson or whoever. Now, if he set up like that, I'd be very, very worried. But I just don't think Bruce will. From what I've heard you say, from what I've heard other Newcastle fans say, you sort of see it as he doesn't work. He
does no research whatsoever.
Didn't Jack Grealish say that? Did you see that quote from Jack Grealish where he said something like...
He said he just chucked a ball in the middle and said, "Go on then." In their training sessions, like that's literally like under nines, like that's genuinely what it was like. And honestly, I believe him. I really hand on heart believe him, because obviously the way we play, there's just been no I feel like there's no drills whatsoever. I don't even know what they're working on in training, genuinely, because we can't even do the basics at this point. So and that's not even an exaggeration. Obviously, they've seen last night we just cannot even do the basics. So I can only see Leeds win. I really, really cannot at this point, the way the players' minds are, the way Steve Bruce is, because he doesn't do any prior research to any game. If he's won the game, he'll just play the same team no matter what, the same team in formation no matter who you're playing.
So can you see him making wholesale changes from that Villa game then?
No, because obviously, as he said, I'm really encouraged with what I see. So I'm thinking that he probably will maybe only make one or two changes maximum, because he thinks he's inspired by whatever he saw last night. Frigging inspired to do what? I don't know. Leave, I hope. But yeah, I don't think he'll make too many changes. Whether or not St. Maximin will start will be the question, because obviously he only came on yesterday at like 70 odd minutes, 71 minutes, and he's been out for a long time. So whether he's match fit or not, I really don't know. But yeah, I can't see him changing much at all, especially when he said them comments. And as you say, the way we set up probably plays to Leeds' strengths a little bit. So I can't really see anything other than Leeds in that term at this point.
Yeah, I think it's the worst thing is if either of us win, because I think we're both bothered. I think the majority thing is that we just stay in the division.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you take three off the other, isn't it? And then you bring them down. I think I think it's a massive game for both teams, to be honest, because I think I don't want to be the team that Newcastle turn over and then you sort of look at the confidence of our players and see what's going on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we're not obviously a team that people want to lose to at this point, because it's like we play awfully. So if you're losing to us, that means you've had like a really rubbish game. Do you know what I mean? But as I say, I wouldn't necessarily be worried. But then you've got to think of the other hand, as I say, sod's law. It's always like you'll lose to the worst team in the league, as we did, and obviously Sheffield United handed them their first 3 points of the season. So yeah, that's it. Kendall, I'm gonna be horrible, and I'm gonna go with a 3-1 Leeds win. I guess I will press you for a score prediction if you wouldn't mind. That's all right. Actually, 3-1, I wouldn't even mind that, to be honest. I think that's quite good.
I think you're really mean to a false sense of security here, I think.
No, honestly, because I'm just being realistic, and I just cannot see us doing anything else. I would honestly, 3-1 wouldn't even be the worst score in the world. Look, it was 5-2 last time. So it depends on how we set up. I can't even really see us score. Although your defence is probably the weakest part of your team, so maybe we will score. To be honest, 3-1's not a bad shout. I'm on board with you on 3-1 there, because you're definitely going to win, and it's definitely not going to be a tight game at all. But we might just manage to score again. We've only scored once in 9 games, so maybe we'll score again. I don't know.
Yeah. Right, guys. Well, we've hit the. It goes on for ages. These things. You just keep chatting, don't you? I always lose track.
Get distracted.
Guys, that is going to be it. Get your comments in the section below. Kendall's YouTube channel will be in the section below. Definitely go check it out. It's well worth it. I think your last one was it a Bruce out or Dear Steve Bruce?
Steve Bruce. Yeah,
good one. It's a good one. So go check it out. It'd be good to get you back on the channel as well at some point, Kendall. Maybe we can do it after the game or something like that. But thank you so much, Kendall. Thank you so much, guys. As I say, get your score predictions in the comment section below. If you have just joined, you can watch it back and listen to us talking waffle for half an hour. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you in a bit.